facial.
My name is Adam Shapiro. I'm the guy who heads up the editorial stuff with WNBC.com. And it is absolutely my pleasure to welcome you to New York's first official Blogger Summit.
Thank you, Adam. How's everybody doing? Good. We just want to tell you where you are. Look around you. You're in the Conan O'Brien studio. You were, if you didn't hear over there, that's Studio 6B. This is 6A. 6B is where we do our newscasts. And I know you watch us in the mornings and in the evenings, and that's where we're there. And we're excited to have you here. The fact that you're in the Conan O'Brien studio is just one of the surprises tonight, and you'll have several. So, Dan, tell us about this erasing of the division that you're trying to do.
I think you make it sound more glamorous than it is. I just think that you folks know what's going on. We're in the business of finding out what's going on. It makes sense for me to listen to you. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's great. Let's get a sense of who else is here. Raise your hand if you're a political blogger, please. Raise your hand, look around you. Okay. What about sports?
It's so great to finally put your faces on blogs. We've been reading, all of us collectively at WNBC for a while now. As you know, we are really excited to have you here. This Blogger Summit is one of the big projects we've been working on for a while to kind of get our world to meet your world. WNBC is about to celebrate its 66th birthday, and most of your blogs are only a few years old. So I think we have a lot to learn from each other. There's a lot of history here too. I was telling you a lot in the other room. 6B was where Johnny Carson first had his show, The Tonight Show, before he moved to LA. And as you know, this is the Conan studio. Before that, it was the Letterman studio. But history remains in the past, and today we're here to talk about the future, which all of you are a part of. Our industry is changing, and you are a huge part of that. TV, the web, blogs, they're all intertwining, and
we're talking about my humor story.
Yes, humor story. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming, and thanks for the microphone.
The helper for you. One thing, just give us a sense of your numbers and where you've grown and where you are.
Right now we have 15 other sites in other cities around the world, which is really exciting. And like today,
a month are you talking about?
Over our whole network of cities, it's definitely over like 5 million.
Great. Give him a hand, folks. I'm not giving him the mic, just a hand here. But Anil is an example of someone who has a technology background, but also is a great communicator.
So I was thinking about, what do I do? I mean, I don't really write about anything in particular. I just write about opinions a lot of the time. And I'm thinking, we've talked a lot about harnessing news, because a lot of people do break news on their blogs. I just talk about my opinions. How can we harness those? That's something I'd like to know.
That's a great question. Who would like to tackle that? Anybody?
And it's a general interest blog. Basically means I'm the only one who's generally interested in it. But one night early in January, I happened to go with my girlfriend to the Comedy Cellar to catch a show, and John Mayer did a stand-up.
Want to kind of become as big.
Well, I'm actually the editorial assistant there. The editors don't really like going out in public. They're kind of quiet. But for a really snarky, obnoxious site like we are a lot of the time, working there is actually really awesome. We sort of a big family, and the big office in Soho, and we go in if we want to go in, we don't go in.
I told everyone at work that my daughter's in style. I was like, oh, that's fine. Anyways, the point, and I'm on camera. Excuse me for a minute. I'm going to talk right to the camera. No. My question is, with gossip stories, like sometimes we get tips from, commenters or emailers like you emailed us, how unsubstantiated, because we get a lot of stuff. Can I talk about a rumor? Okay. I got an email.
That's why we have editors. It's not live to tape.
No, but I got an email that the host of Top Chef was a big pot smoker, and I love her, fantastic, big stoner, right? Yeah. And so I posted it, we posted it on the blog. I had to write allegedly because otherwise I was going to lose my job, and I had, whatever. Anyways, the point of the story is, though, when do we know, are you guys going to cover stories, obviously that is drug-related, so that's one thing, but you know what I mean, how, we get so many tips, 90% of what we do is not true, you know what I mean, you know what I'm wrong? There's so much stuff that we cover that is completely lies, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. You know what it's exaggerating. Exaggerating.
But I think you understand my point. Especially it's gossip. So what's
Let's have Aaron answer.
So we won't say this is true, but we will say maybe that all these people are talking about it. We're looking into it, whatever it is. The story is that people are talking about it.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? It's the story.
Yeah, I appreciate that. About 75% of our stuff is untrue. Look, we in the news game, we have certain standards that we have to keep following, and that isn't to imply that anybody's standards are different, should be different, whatever. But just in our game, we have a certain level of having to verify different things, certain number of sources. If we didn't, then every story that you've ever heard would be all over the place, and every false allegation. I remember during the last presidential campaign with John Kerry, there was a really strong rumor out there, but none of the big media outlets wound up doing it, and it wound up being completely made up. We have to do a certain amount of homework on this stuff. That said, bring it on. We want to be able to look at this stuff. We want to find out what's going on. If somebody's a pot smoker, I don't know if that's going to make page 1. But if there is somebody who is, if you heard the rumor about, George Michael, and certain problems in the bathroom, let us know. We'll do some homework. We'll work with you.
One example is I was reading PerezHilton.com, and they had a story. They had a story about Trump wrote a new letter to Rosie. This is a true story. And I stood up in the entire web department, and I'm like, Trump wrote another letter to Rosie. Well, and that's the first place we ever heard it, and the first place it's actually printed. So what we did was we ended up calling the Trump organization and getting a copy of the letter, but those are how things happen. And if you're hearing that first, we're going to obviously check into it, but, that's it.
Thank you. And
We're not cheering the laid off part, but the blog itself.
Well, it's very meta. I was laid off a while ago, and I'm working now. Still a dad, too. Well, my question about, and I was thinking about this as far as TV versus the web, and I'm thinking, the TV is so constraining. You have...
But the thing that in journalism 101 I learned was information, and accurate information. And so,
as far as I'm concerned, for the news people, we are not going to sacrifice our journalistic standards for the content, whether it's this new media, the web,